Hi guys, it is Connor with Graded Gem with something a bit different for you today. I've got an investment video. How strange is that? So I'm going to be talking about Neo Destiny First Edition, specifically PSA 10 today, why I invested it, and just, you know, maybe some advice on now and maybe some advice on the future. I'm just going to go through each card. I'm going to give you a little bit of detail on each card, population, the values, and yeah, I just want to go through. I mean, they all look pretty cool as well, so you can't really lose there. So we're going to start off with Dark Ampharos, this guy here. Absolute stunner of a card, I should say. Population is actually only 39 on this guy, and the last sale was only $122, which to me screams absolute bargain. The peak sale, oh, nearly dropped him there. The peak sale was a massive $293. I think I sold a duplicate back then for around about that. And for me, the artwork against other Amphoroses, this is the best one I could find, to be honest. Against Neo Genesis, he just looks like a bit of it just doesn't look. He looks too passive. He's not got any power or aggression in him, and the Dark Ampharos really does. Investment grade for me is an A. The reason for that is because the population is still quite low. It's under 40 at 39, and for me, it's a spectacular card. Next, we're going to move on to the Dark Crobat. Population 54, so quite a bit more than the Ampharos. The last sale was a surprising $93, which to me seems a bit too low for many first edition WotC PSA 10 cards, for sure, especially from the Neo Destiny set, considering. The peak sale of this card was actually $214. That's half, basically, the last sale. Which is a massive drop-off, really. But that's due to the population increases. Actually, that's the case with a lot of these cards. I've actually only given the Crobat an artwork grade of an 8, mainly because the Aquapolis and the Crystal cards for Crobat are a lot stronger. Although this does have a really cool moon effect in the background, and Crobat, look, he's quite aggressive. He's flying at you instead of flying with you. I still believe that the Aquapolis and Crystal are better. The investment grade for that one is a B, just because mainly it is still a Crobat. It's not a massive Pokemon species in all regards. Yeah, I mean, it's still a very cool looking card. I would say for $93, it's still a decent pickup. Next, we've got the Dark Donphan. Again, Donphan, is he really a holofoil Pokemon? I personally don't think so. It's a bit of a strange one in this set. It's the one that maybe is a bit, you know, you've got so many strong Pokemon species, and the Donphan, he's not really there. He's not up there in terms of quality of the Pokemon species. Population of this guy is 45. Massive surprise to me. The last sale of this was $160. The peak sale, which was also a surprise to me, was like $200. I did not spend that much on this guy. I might have graded him myself, to be honest. And to be honest, the artwork on this Donphan is a 10, because there are no other cool looking Donphans. This is the best looking Donphan. Obviously, you got the Donphan from Neo Genesis, but this guy just looks better. It's a shame they haven't got him in a more aggressive stance, but you know, that's how it is. Prime is probably the nearest thing to him in the Donphan, but again, I'm still going to give it to Dark Donphan. Investment grade for this is probably a B, maybe a B minus. It's probably because the price is still relatively high in comparison to the rest of the cards. For the Pokemon species. So, I mean, it's still a good card, still a good pickup. Next, we move on to probably our first stellar hit of the set. It is the Dark Espeon. Absolute beauty. It really is a standout card. The population of this is 34. Interestingly, though, this has increased from 15 at the start of the year. So a lot more of these have gone back PSA 10. And that is the reason for the price difference. Now you can pick it up for about $400. That was the last sale anyway. The peak sale of this was $710. $710. That's massive. I do see this card eventually getting back to that price point. But right now, because of the massive population increase, there's an increase in supply. But once they've all been eaten up by those collectors, I can definitely see this card going up in price. It's one that those high-end collectors, it's a massively desirable card. It's an absolute beauty, as I'm sure you can see. Not to speak up too much, I'm actually going to only give this one an art grade of 9 instead of 10. The reason for that is there is a lot of competition for Espeon. You've got the Neo Discovery artwork, which is amazing. Aquapolis is another popular one, and the Delta species is a personal favourite of mine. Investment grade for this is an A. This card in the future, it's almost guaranteed, in my opinion, I should definitely stress that, to go up in price. I mean, it's got everything going for it. The Pokemon species, the holofoil effect, the artwork, it's just beautiful. Next, we move on to Dark Feraligatr, obviously the end of the evolution line of Totodile. Population of this guy is 49. At the last sale was $204. So, you know, that's not bad. The peak sale of this was $300. So it's not half the drop-off price, which is pretty decent. Yeah, this card is quite a stunner. Again, it's another dark card, dark and light. The HP is a bit strange, the text is a bit strange, but when we're actually talking about the artwork on the card, it is pretty damn cool. 49 is nearly hitting that 50 barrier for population. And the art grade I've given this is a 9, again, because there's a lot of competition. I actually think the Neo Genesis artworks are just as strong as this one. And then I've got a personal love for the Heart Gold Soul Silver Feraligatr. The investment grade for this is B+, because, I mean, because it is a popular species, it's maybe not going to have such a massive drop. Well, it's not going to have a massive drop in price unless the population increases significantly, which is something I can't see happening again. I do think overall for this set, we're at the low, because I think a lot of these were sent in at the start of this year, and then it has dropped off the last 2 months. So it's definitely a set. This is maybe why I'm doing this video as well. It's definitely a set I would look into going to now again. If I didn't have it already, I would probably go into buy in now. Anyway, next. Dark Gengar. This guy's going to cause a bit of controversy. Population of this is 59, which is one of the highest populations in the set. The last sale of this was 150. Its peak sales around about $300. For me, here's the controversy. The Gengar on artwork is only a 5. I think a lot of the other Gengars are stronger. Skyridge, Fossil, the Gengar EXs, old school, they're also very strong. And then you've also got the Sabrina's Gengar from Gym Heroes. I would say they're all stronger than the Dark Gengar. It is very basic and simplistic. It's different. There's no way you can't say it isn't. It's very unique. There's not much holofoil. It's just on the top. It's still a good looking card, but maybe it's one I would leave to the end of your collecting journey of Neo Destiny First Edition holofoils. But, you know, it's still a good card. I mean, you can't really go wrong with WotC First Edition, but in comparison to other artworks of Gengar, it's definitely down the list. Next, we move on to Dark Houndoom. A standout card for me. Fire, obviously, but it really matches with the aggression and the ironworks in the background there. Also, the devil horns, you could say. The population of this guy is 45. The last sale of this was $129. Its peak sale was $242. I mean, I personally feel like this card's got a long way to go. I think this card could be a $400 card eventually. It was always the card that was looked over in this set, I would say. I picked this guy up relatively cheap at the time because the guy was having trouble selling it, and I didn't really understand why. I'm going to give this guy an 8. For me, it's an 8 because Neo Revelation, Aquapolis. I think Aquapolis is the strongest. Then Neo Revelation. Oh no, Neo Revelation would be the 10. Aquapolis would be the 9. So the Dark Houndoom gets my 8. The investment grade for this is A+ for a lot of the reasons I've said before. I think this could be a card that grows relatively quickly. When I say relatively, please do not see that as the next 2 weeks. I mean over months, over years. I do feel like this card's got a long way to go. Next, we've got Dark Porygon 2. I reckon you could hear that. Population is 37. The last sale was $140. Its peak sale, actually, was only $195. I believe that was the price I bought it at, which is a bit annoying. However, the Porygon 2 is a 10 grade in terms of, well, I know it's a 10 grade at PSA, but it's also a 10 grade in terms of my artwork because Porygon 2, he doesn't really have much competition, let's be honest, and it's got this awesome rainbow holofoil effect. Obviously, the blue shining, then you've got the greens and the yellows and the reds coming out. Porygon 2, it's quite a stellar card, actually. Again, it's maybe a card you wouldn't have thought would be a holofoil, especially in Neo Destiny. The investment grade for this is B+. It's definitely a card I would look at getting relatively early. The population is low, it's only 37. Maybe it's got a chance of maybe hitting $300 over the next few years. I would definitely say it's a card that will go over its peak sale over time. I can't see too many more of these 10s coming out just because of the amount of holofoil. And as you know, any scratches on the holo 4 will just mean it won't get a 10. Whether it gets a 9 or an 8, that doesn't matter. It just won't get the 10. And that's really important for 10 collectors out there. We are halfway through, and we're going to go on to a personal favourite of mine. I love this card. The contrasting colours from the yellow to the metallic background, the red on the sizzle. I really feel like this is a powerful card. In terms of population, this card's at 42, so on the lower end, I would say. Its last sale was $200. Its peak sale was about $300. For me, it's just a standout card. It's one I would get early on just for ownership reasons. It's a card that you can enjoy looking at, in all honesty. The sizzle looks like he's about to basically go into a fight. He's got his wings out. They're very silvery. Got a lovely holo fall effect around the sizzle. And the yellow and the silver contrast is absolutely stunning. For me, this is probably, if it wasn't for the Pokemon species, it's up there as one of the top artworks. Full stop. It's definitely the best sizzle. And that's why I'm going to give this a 10 in terms of art grade. Yeah, for me, it's an absolute stunner. Investment grade, though, is only a B, just because I feel like there are better opportunities in this set. Cards that we still haven't gone through, or cards we have gone through, that maybe you should pick up first before this guy, because he is $200. And there are, well, the next one's a great example that's cheaper than this, which I think is ridiculous. And that guy is the Dark Typhlosion. I mean, it is utterly ridiculous. This price, when I tell you it, I really feel if you can get one for it, go out and get it. The last sale of this was $150. The peak sale was $630. Massive. Population for this guy is 50, right on the dot. The reason why this is priced lower at the moment is because there's a lot of high value listings, supply, that's what I mean, giving the impression of big supply. So the last sale was on auction, $150, and the reason why that sold less than I would have expected anyway is because there's so many listings, people thought, oh, there's quite a few of them out there, so therefore they bid lower. $150 for this card is an absolute steal. If you can get it for $150, I would say to even $250, I would pick it up as soon as possible. It's one that should at least be in the 400 zone, even now. I feel like it's one that should just be higher now. Never mind in a year's time. This card for $100, I would pick one up for $150. If you're selling this card for $150, please message me on Instagram and I will buy it. Simple as that. That's how much I believe in this card. The investment grade for that is unsurprisingly A+. This is the card out of this set that I would suggest getting right now. Next, we move on to the Dark Tyranitar, the imposing figure he is. Population 38, so actually relatively low population. Its last sale was $320, and its peak sale was $360, which is quite interesting in itself. That means there's not really that much difference. Population of this didn't grow so dramatically as some of the other cards in this set. It's a nice card, don't get me wrong. You got the fiery background Tyranitar coming out of those flames. I'm only going to give him an art grade of 8. The reason for that is the Shining Tyranitar overshadows this card. Obviously, it's in the Neo Destiny set as well. And for me, the Shining Tyranitar is it's a stronger card. There's no doubt about it. I will be doing a Shining video as well, because that is obviously in my collection too. The investment grade for this guy is a B, unfortunately, just because he's just not as strong as the others. Right now, his last sale, peak sale, it's quite similar. It's still going to hit over $400 in my opinion over the next year or so, but maybe it's a card that you leave till later on in the collecting journey. Again, I could be all wrong. These are only my opinions, just based on my experience really in the hobby. Like Arcanine, I should probably mention that investment values don't really matter to me. I bought these and I've kept them ever since, and that is still the opinion until it unless it increases by like a massive amount, where I can't say no to selling them. The Light Arcanine is a population of 44. This card is an absolute stunner. I'm just going to give you the last sale was $365 and the peak sale was $566. The current best price right now, you can go and get it on eBay for $400. For me, that is a steal. This card's artwork is unmatched. I know I've said that about the Dark Scizor and others, but this really is the top artwork. If I could give it 11 out of 10, I would. It's my favourite artwork from the set, so I might be a bit biased. Arcanine here shows a different side of his character, or her character. Usually Arcanine is quite aggressive, like a dog, isn't it? So like Houndoom or anything like that. But this light Arcanine gives a real different impression of the Pokemon species. Bit biased here, guys. I mean, I'm going to give it an investment grade of A+ and a 10 grade out of 10 for the artwork. I do just think this is an absolute stunner. Maybe if you're going for pure investment, I wouldn't suggest that anyway. But in terms of actually owning this card and collecting it, it's definitely one of those you need to get as soon as possible. Next, we move on to a bit of an underwhelmer, the light Azumarill. How many times have we seen this on Instagram? Population of this is 52 right now, so rather high for this set. Relatively low in comparison to other WotC first edition. Its last sale was $85. I mean, that is ridiculously cheap. Its peak sale was $200. So again, a massive drop off of more than half. I'm going to give this an art grade of 8. I think Azumarill is done better in Aquapolis. I also think it's done better in Team Rocket Returns. That Dark Azumarill from Team Rocket Returns is awesome. So this gets an 8 for an Azumarill artwork. A lot of holofoil, surprisingly, but it's quite dark and shadowy, so therefore scratches aren't as obvious, which is probably why for the higher population. Investment grade, if you can pick this up for $85, there's no complaints there. It's a B+. Next, we're going to move on to the other controversial card in this video. It is Light Dragonite. Population is a massive, and I say massive in relatively terms, is 61. Overall, other WotC first edition cards are obviously a lot higher than 61, but it's still high for Neo Destiny. Its last sale was actually $269.99. Its peak sale was $385. For me, this is where the controversy comes in. Like the Gengar, I feel like there's a lot better artworks of Dragonite out there. I'm talking about the Dark Dragonite from Team Rocket. I'm talking about the Dragonite from Fossil. I'm talking about the Dark Dragonite from Team Rocket Returns. I'm talking about the Promo Dragonite. I'm talking about the Game Boy Promo Dragonite. For me, Light Dragonite, the light species or the light type of card doesn't suit Dragonite. I want to see Dragonite being aggressive. I want to see Dragonite really going for the throat, really. About to knock you out. You know, it is about that, and for me it just doesn't suit Dragonite at all. It's got a really cool wavy effect in the background. The art grade for this one is a 5. The investment grade is a B, maybe a B-, simply because the population is a bit higher, and in comparison to other cards on this list, the last sale is relatively high for the amount of population there is, and also the artwork. So there's better cards out there in this set that I would suggest picking up before this one. Still, very strong card. Next, all of these cards are strong. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's just about, when you're talking about budget, it's about the order that you go in. Even I had to steady myself and have patience, get the cards at the right time, for instance. Next, we move on to an interesting one, which is the Light Togetic. This is ironic because it is literally the opposite to the Dragonite. The light species is exactly what I want to see on the Togetic. I think it totally suits Togetic. Population of this is only 27. That is because all the holofoil, very easy to get scratches on. The last sale was $315. Its peak sale was a massive $500. I'm going to give this an art grade of 10. It's because Togetic totally suits this white background and the light type of Pokemon. There's no doubt about it. It's a really cute card. It's very simplistic in many ways. Maybe the holo effect isn't as powerful as other cards on this set. But overall, yeah, it totally suits. Next, we have, well, when I say next, I say last. And I do mean last, unfortunately. Miracle in Energy. Population is 36. However, this is a dramatic rise from 13 at the start of the year. 13 to 36. So I don't know what happened at PSA, but I reckon they graded this card a lot easier at the start of this year, unfortunately. Last sale was $185 and its peak sale was $470. I don't really know if there's too much to say about this card. It's an awesome card. Energy holofoils in general are pretty amazing from Pokemon. It's not a Pokemon though, so that definitely takes away from the card because, you know, you haven't got a species, you haven't got a headline there. But the only card I can really compare this against is the Neo Genesis Metal Energy. And for me, this is stronger. It just looks cooler. The orbs, I would say, in the middle, coming from space or whatever, and it just looks sick. The investment grade for that is a B. The reason for that is because of the massive population increase. But I reckon if you can pick it up for $185, I'd say that's a good buy right now. So I think, guys, that is the summary of the individual cards. I'm just going to quickly talk about why overall I feel like the set has a good way to go. Mainly because the sealed product is $10,000 for a booster box. And the highest card in value, PSA 10, you can get in there is $2,100. So that's a massive, massive difference in between the booster box and the peak card. I really don't think that too many people will be opening the booster boxes to grade them anymore, because it just doesn't make any sense financially. I invested in the set in general because the artworks are really strong. You've got the dark, you've got the light Pokemon, which is quite unique. Outside of Team Rocket, you just had dark. Having dark and light types, very unique. And the card populations is another one. They're all below 60, which is pretty damn cool. Most are below 50, and a good proportion are below 30. And against other WotC overall sets, that is really, really good populations. Anyway, guys, I think I will leave it there. I'm going to give you a total now. The last sale of all of these cards was $3,300. So if you had to pick these up right now, and they're all available at the last sale price, $3,300. Its peak sale was a massive $5,890. So that's if you sold each and every one card at the highest ever price it got. That's what you'd get. I personally do feel it will hit $6,000 over the next year, year and a half, when the populations don't spike as much as they have done. Mainly this year. Definitely seen an increase in WotC. I expect a slowdown, really, a real slowdown. But yeah, guys, that is the reason why I invested in this set, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So thanks for watching, and this has been Connor. See you in a bit. Bye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like, hit that bell button, and go and follow our social media. Oh, and don't forget gradedgem.com. Thanks, guys.